How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day today. It's that time again. It's time to get creative. It's time to get those animating juices flowing. It's time to get imaginative. Turn on those imaginations, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from the amazing Tara McPherson. If you're not familiar with her, she's done comic books, paintings. She's a phenomenal illustrator. And I'll just go ahead and grab this little clip off of Vimeo that I'll put right up here if you guys want to see some stuff from her, and I will link a bunch of her stuff down below as well. I love her style. It's a very clean lines. It's very great color schemes that she always picks together. Really thought-provoking, and yet it's got a very approachable feel to her work as well. So here's a couple of little quotes I pulled out from a couple of interviews that I found with her as well. It's not the easy way out. If there's not blood, sweat, and tears in it, it's less valid to me. And I think in any sort of artistic endeavor, the stuff that just tends to stand the test of time is the stuff where you've really toiled over it. And maybe it's not, that's not necessarily the piece that's going to be the one that speaks to everyone, but it's going to be something that teaches you something that you can take that blood, sweat, and tears and put into the next project from all that experience that you've learned already. And then in order to be an artist, you have to be really diligent with your time, be very focused, and not get sidetracked. And I think that's totally true. Reading through some of her stuff that she's talking about, and listening to some Will Terry stuff as well. A lot of them are talking about the same kind of feeling behind that, in that, if you look at Einstein or you look at Tesla or any of that stuff, this is stuff that Will Terry was talking about, and definitely check out his channel if you haven't done that already. He's an amazing illustrator and really motivational and inspirational for any sort of creative person. I'm just getting fascinated watching her paint. But talking about anyone that wants to do something with their life, you a lot of times sacrifice a lot to do that. It means that you can't put that time into other things, and that's something you have to be willing to do, and something you have to be aware of when you're starting out, because you're either not going to be able to put the time into it, and therefore you won't have the skills and the abilities that you need to be successful at it, or you're going to have to do that and other things are going to suffer. You can't spend all your day at the beach and hanging out with friends and doing all this stuff, and then you have nothing to show for that day, and nothing that you pushed yourself towards, or nothing that you're growing in, and nothing that you're becoming better at in whatever field it is. So it's all about sacrifice, and I think that's an important thing. You have to put those hours and you have to put that blood, sweat, and tears into all of your work. And that being said, let's get into today's animation, and we're going to be using the Houdini Rig. I'll definitely link to some more of Tara McPherson stuff. Definitely, if you have a Facebook or Twitter, follow her. She's always putting up amazing stuff. A great visual artist. Really like her stuff. And she's got those sensibilities of a musician as well to her work that I really appreciate. So we're going to be using the Houdini Rig. It's a free rig you can grab from Creative Crash. I will link it down in the information below, and don't forget to go out and try it out for yourself. And if you do, share back the amazing stuff that you've created. I'd love to see all that stuff that you guys are coming up with as well. And same goes if you guys are making music, if you're a photographer, any sort of that kind of stuff, just link it down below. I'd love to be able to share all the stuff you guys are coming up with on a daily basis as creative people as well. And so let's take a look here, and I want to put up the graph editor down here as well. We are using Maya 2014 today, and so let's go in and create a polygon primitives cube, and just so we have a base with which to work with. Turn our grid off. Let's go ahead and save our file. And like I said, we are using Maya 2014. And if you're not familiar with this series, what we do is we give ourselves 48 frames. That's 2 seconds of animation, and try to keep it within an hour. And see what we can come up with. A little bit of over the shoulder, a little bit of instruction, a little bit of inspiration, and hopefully at the end of this, you either learn something or you get inspired to go and create something of your own. Let's go ahead and just save this file, wait for it to load, just takes a second here. And we'll just call this Houdini Rig, and save that. And let's go ahead and turn everything off fix it for our NURB curves, NURB surfaces, and our polygons. And let's get in here. I was thinking what might be fun for this one is to do more of like a scared cat type of walk. I really like it when, as you've seen before, we have a little cat, and when she gets scared or alarmed or anything, I always pull her back up like this, and I think that's a really unique thing that cats tend to do that other animals don't. And since this is more of it's kind of like those box creatures rigs that we used a little while ago, but give a little bit of curve to that tail. Let's go kick it a little bit, and let's bring it down there. We just want to kind of create a little bit of a personality in our posing right now. Do kind of smaller steps with this because this would be more of a cautious style walk, I would think. And let's go and rotate that down a little bit more. Rotate that head a little bit like that, a little bit further down. Got that nice arch in the back throughout, and I feel that works pretty good. Got that little bit of line of action through the body, and we could probably even lower everything just a little bit more. Maybe exaggerate that a little bit more. We'll see. Okay, so let's go ahead and save our file here, and let's get started. So let's go to set our frame range from 0 to 48 here, and I'm just going to check the recording, make sure we're still going here. Looks like we're still good. Since I have the graph editor up down here, I have to check the recording every once in a while, make sure we're not losing anything. And we'll go ahead and set our key at 0. And let's get in, and we're going to build the foundation, which is going to be like the feet and the hips and the chest here is going to be the foundation, since this is more of a quadruped type of walk. Switch that up. Right. And get a nice silhouette if we can there. Let's do something a little bit different. Let's create polygon primitives. Let's create another up here. What's that? Give ourselves a different background color, since everything's kind of just different shades of dark blue and gray here. Something that can give us a different feel. So let's assign a new material here. Let's give it a Lambert, and let's get a different color here. Maybe something that can stand out a little bit more. For now, just give us something so that we're not blending in everything. We could probably even take this one and lighten it up a little bit as well. Okay, that'll have to work for now. Okay, and let's get in here. So we're going to move this back foot and this front foot. So we can have there. And I think we'll keep it around 12 frames per move. I think that'll be good for this guy. And move that forward. Let's see. Yep, feels pretty good. And let's go ahead and grab both of those. And we'll set our key at 12. We'll go to 24. Pull them forward here, and grab those. And in. Okay. And set those two there. Go to 36. Pull them forward there. And then readjust the hips to push those forward. And again, we're just doing the foundation stuff. We're going to go in and we're going to add some texture and some more personality and all that stuff. Fix the timing and everything there. But we just want to get the foundational stuff here. This is more of a layered approach where we go through and do feet and then the hips. And then okay, so let's go ahead and look at the hips and the chest. And for some reason it's translate X, usually it's translate Z, but that's okay. We're just going to even that out so that that is a consistent move throughout. So there's a consistent move from left to right across the screen here. Let's go and watch that now. That's pretty good. It feels like it's still in balance and everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some with the hips here. Actually, let's go in and let's do the passing positions first on the feet. Again, we're just going to nail in all of those keys one more time. Let's go to 6. We'll raise that up. Plane it down. We'll raise that up. And then plane it down. Okay, and let's go to the other side here. Again, we're just going to lock in those keys we already have. Just hit S on the keyboard one more time. And we'll raise those feet up. Play it down there. And raise those feet up. And then we'll play it down there. So let's go ahead and watch that. Okay, now first thing I want to do to vary the front feet from the back feet, or paws, whichever you want to call them, is I want to make the front steps low. For some reason I don't want those to be as high as the back steps, so we're going to kick them down here. Make sure that's showing up on our video. Yep, we're looking right in this area here. Okay. And let's look at the back steps, and let's try and just even those out a little bit more so there's not as much variety here, and we're going to favor that they are bigger steps in the back. And let's go ahead and check that out now. Okay, go ahead and save our file here. I feel like we got a good foundation so far, and this rig seems to be working really well, so I'm not having any problems here. And let's tip the hips over here so it favors that planted foot. Go back over there, and there, and then we will so this is translate Z on this one. Normally that would be a translate X, but that's okay. And now let's go in here and let's clean that up a little bit. Let's see, we have it around 0.5 there, so keep that there. Let's go ahead and look at that now. Okay, and let's go ahead and add a little rotate here. Let's see. Rotate X that way, rotate X that way. A little bit more. I think I want a little bit less on the rotate Y's here. Okay, and let's look at that. I think it was rotate X. Normally I would think that would be rotate Z, but that's okay. X is usually like up and down rather than side to side. That's alright. Every rig's a little different. That's why I've never used this rig before, and that's why I try to bring a new rig for you guys to try out every day so that you can get familiar with using different kinds of rigs all the time, so that that's not a hurdle for you. Once you kind of get a base understanding of how multiple rigs work, then you can kind of apply that stuff you've learned in easy format, and using new rigs isn't as intimidating anymore. And let's go ahead and do a little bit here. So that is going to push over there, and then over here, over there, again, we're just favoring whatever foot is planted there, so that weight will be distributed in a believable fashion. And let's go ahead and minimize that. I think I want the back hips to be more exaggerated than the front, especially since we're doing that with the feet as well. I may as well keep that same idea consistent there as well. So let's go ahead and see that. Alright, starting to come together. And then I think I'll just rotate X here. And this is just some rotation, so it's not just translation favoring the planted foot. And then back again. Super that out. And let's clean that up here. And it's always good to kind of go and clean along the way so that you don't lose track of where you are or get distracted. Okay. Let's do a little bit of up and down here. Up and down. Up. And I think I'm gonna have the up and down alternate. So the back will pick up here and the front will go down there. We'll see. Maybe we'll keep it consistent, but I think that'd be a fun way to approach that. And remember with animation, unless you're doing really locked off, super hyper realistic stuff, it's fun to play. It's a very playful medium. Let's go down, up, and down, up, and down, up, down, and up. Let's see. This would be different timing. We need to hold down the shift, so we're just doing the shift. Okay, yeah, we don't need it. So let's see. For some reason, this controller's not working right here. Starting to work again. Once you have to do it in the graph editor, that's okay. Delete that stuff. did kind of break it to begin with, so I'm alright with having that be a problem. It's a problem that we created, and that's the thing that I've heard a lot of animators talk about, and a lot of teachers and stuff, is that, you know, whatever animation shot you're doing, you're creating your own problems, so you gotta fix them. I feel like that's too much. So let's go nip that down, pull that in. Yeah, let's see here. Okay, and let's try and see if we can't a little bit of translate X here. Translate Z. I think I'll just leave it where it is on those. They're not working the way I want them to, so we can do another way. We can do a little more. Rotate Z. Hit F on your keyboard to focus in here. That's good. Let's kind of over exaggerate this thing. Let's see. Okay, not that much. 5.8. 0.7. There. Let's see here. Okay. A little too much, so let's go pull it back a little more. And we'll do a little more of that in the chest as well. Didn't look like we did any of it, so I'll definitely go in and retouch that up here. Let's see here. Maybe a little bit less, and we'll even it up a little bit more too here. So let's go around 0.5 for everything here. And again, the numbers aren't important, but they are nice for reference, so you know about where to go with everything here. Let's have the head. I'll dip down and go back up. So that's kind of playing opposite from where the midsection is going. Down, up, down, up, down, and down again. Let's see. Maybe a little too much, so let's maybe tone that down a little more. Okay, let's gotta watch that now. And then let's get this tail moving the other way. So, 3, 9, 15. It's a little too much here. Set it at 6. And then, what's that, 18? 3, 14. Okay, let's tone that down a little more. It's starting to feel alright. I think we'll grab the tip of that tail and we'll just delay it a few more frames. So let's go maybe 5 frames there. Okay, yeah, that's about right. Go to 15. What's that? 27. Okay. 9. And we can always tweak this as we get going, but I think I said it's a good start here since let's move it back maybe one more frame. Let's reverse it. Let's exaggerate it a little bit more. Let's see. Let's grab like the last 3, delay those one more frame, and exaggerate it a little bit. That feels pretty good. Up and down on that front. Let's see here. Okay, let's go to save our file. Let's go back to those feet and check those out. Let's rotate it back here. Is this a toe? It is. Okay. Yeah, it's not a toe, but yeah, I like toes. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this then. Use it as the heel. jump to that one? Let me jump to that one. Okay. 2 frames there. So there's a little bit of a drag and then land. That'll work. Again, set what we have there. Drag it back. Lift it up. 2 frames. Land. And switch back. Set what we have there. Drag it back. Lift it up. 2 frames. Land. And switch back to the other foot. And drag it back. Lift it up. So let's see. I feel like that might be too much rotate up on that land. It doesn't have to be so heavy. And that would be this position here. It just feels like it's a little too much. I'm gonna add a little more drag maybe. Don't mind the drag so much. So. Let's have a longer, just to vary the front feet from the back feet a little more, let's have a longer time to get up and a shorter time to get down. So I'll put that forward frame. And then we'll do the opposite with these ones when we get there. Okay. And this one, we want to drag that foot back. Maybe a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and set that, lock that in again, drag that back, lift it up a little bit, and because you don't want, everything to feel the same, and especially with this many feet, we want to try and add variety where we can. And drag that back, lift it up, and drag that back, lift it up. Let's see. And on these ones, I'm going to have these feet pick up a little bit faster and land a little bit slower. So we're going to take what we have here, push it forward a frame, which will give us a shorter lift up and a longer plant. So let's go and watch that. Just to add some variety so the front feet feel a lot different than the back. And let's take a closer look at the rotate Z's again here. And again, I don't want them to be too exaggerated on the landing, but I like the drag to be a little more exaggerated, so I'll pull it back here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at that now. Okay, let's go ahead and save our file here and do a little bit on the head. Let's see. What's that? Rotate, Z, lift, drag, lift, drag, lift, drag, lift, drag, lift. Okay. Maybe it's too much. Let's see. Just want a little bit of not just translation, but also rotation on that head, so it feels a little better. I like this rig a lot. It's working pretty well. So let's go ahead and check that out. And let's go ahead and delay it to 2 frames. So let's see. The other thing I wanted to do was do a little less rotate X here. 18, 3, 14, 0. Cancel. Try to keep it a little more focused forward instead of tipping so much side to side. Now let's even that out a little more. Let's take a look at that now. Okay, one other thing we So, sorry about that. And so what I have here, raise it up and plan it down a little bit. Maybe a little too much over. Okay, let's go watch it. I feel like there's a sense of weight to it. Let's push it forward a frame. Give me another frame to recover from it. Still have that sense of weight. Just don't want it to be jerky. It feels like it's alright. Okay, let's go ahead and do it on the other side here. Lift it up. Put it down. Give me 3 frames and zero it out again. Go to frame 24, set that again. Lift it up. Go down 3 frames and zero it out again. Okay, let's clean that up. We'll compare the two sides and kind of make sure that it's pretty universal between the two. Yeah, pretty good. So let's see here. Yes, that's working pretty well. Alright, let's go ahead and turn our nerve curves off again. And let's hit our space bar here. Push a click off of this so we don't have any manipulators highlighted there. And let's go and look at that now. Yeah, I feel like that's working pretty well. Let's take a look back at where we started. It's not the easy way out. If there's not blood, sweat, and tears in it, it's less valid to me. I think that's totally true. You know, the stuff that you end up putting that heart and soul in, it definitely, it speaks more. It resonates with people. They can tell when there's effort put into stuff, so don't give up. Keep putting that extra effort in there. And in order to be an artist, you have to be really diligent with your time and be very focused and not get sidetracked. And I think as an artist too, one of the big struggles for us as artists or creators or anything is that we feel things and we like things more than probably just, you know, your typical average person. So we want to get inspired. We want to get into all these different worlds and all these different universes and all these different types of creation, and we tend to get sidetracked very easily. So I think that's something that we all need to focus on. I know, at least for myself, I do. I don't want to speak for you. Maybe you're really hyper focused and you never get distracted. Probably are, because you're amazing. But yeah, I think that's a great goal to have, to be extra diligent with your time, really focused and not get sidetracked, and to put that extra bit of effort, that extra bit of blood, sweat, and tears into your work. Alright, that being said, thanks again for watching, everyone. You guys are amazing. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes, and seriously, don't forget to share any sort of animation work or illustration work or any kind of creative project that you guys are working on down below, so we can see all the amazing stuff you guys are coming up with. That being said, you guys have a wonderful night. Love you lots, and we will see you for some more animation tomorrow.